On July 2, 2026, the Al-Hamidiyah corridor in Damascus was at its most active, a dense mix of local shoppers and Gulf tourists. At the center of this crowd, inside the Al-Hamidiyah cafe, a handmade 1-kilogram explosive device detonated. It was a specialized anti-personnel IED, packed with metallic shrapnel designed to maximize injuries in an enclosed space. The blast killed 10 people and injured 21. 6 of those killed were registered lawyers. The remaining 4 were legal consultants and civilian bystanders. The location was chosen for its professional significance. The cafe was the primary lounge for the city's legal community, sitting exactly 40 meters from the Palace of Justice. The immediate geopolitical fallout was severe. Within 48 hours, joint Lebanese-Syrian diplomatic talks were suspended, and a high-level trade delegation from the UAE postponed its visit to Damascus. Despite this massive disruption, absolutely no group stepped forward to claim responsibility for the attack. A null result on attribution functions as a specific operational strategy. It creates maximum political pressure while shielding the actual sponsor from state-level retaliation. To navigate an environment flooded with conflicting intelligence and media blackouts, we use a matrix called the analysis of competing hypotheses. This framework tests the data against every potential perpetrator simultaneously. Intelligence chatter points to 3 primary suspects: remnants of the Assad security apparatus, ISIS, and the IRGC's covert Plan B network. We will use this matrix to see if Syria is entering the Iraq trajectory, a state of permanent proxy violence where the visible executor is merely a mask for an invisible sponsor. A broad consensus across Arab media explicitly blames remnants of the former Assad security apparatus for the bombing. The structural motive lies in the 2023-2024 constitutional amendments. These reforms granted civilian lawyers unprecedented power to hold the state security apparatus accountable in court. Under these new rules, lawyers became frontline threats to the old regime. They gained the legal standing to document human rights violations and file formal complaints capable of reaching international courts. At the exact moment of the blast, the Palace of Justice was holding a symbolic political trial for former Grand Mufti Ahmad Badruddin Hassoun. Known as the barrel bomb Mufti, Hassoun provided the religious justification for the previous regime's use of barrel bombs against civilians. The operational profile, a primitive, remotely detonated device, aligns with the characteristic methods used by Assad loyalists, which typically favor planted devices over suicide bombings. For remnants of the old guard, assassinating legal personnel near the courthouse was a rational act of self-preservation, designed to neutralize the specific lawyers managing these war crimes cases. The new Syrian government officially suspects ISIS, which has ramped up operations in the months following the U.S. military withdrawal. ISIS has pivoted away from its former goal of holding territory. Their current strategic doctrine is designed strictly to raise the cost of governance for the al-Shura administration by targeting state institutions. This theory is supported by pre-attack intelligence. Just 48 hours before the cafe bombing, the ISIS newsletter Al-Naba issued an ultimatum demanding the expulsion of all Iranian advisors from Syria. However, the data is conflicting. While the device matches unclaimed ISIS strikes in Aleppo and Idlib, the lack of a suicide operative breaks from classic ISIS tactical templates. There is also the media anomaly. There was a complete verified blackout across all official Amaq, Al-Sham, and Al-Khorasan communication channels regarding the Damascus strike. An operation of this scale without a formal claim violates ISIS operational norms, leaving analysts to debate whether this was a rogue local cell or a disciplined order for strategic silence. Israeli intelligence focuses on the third hypothesis, an operation executed by Iran's covert Plan B infrastructure, a network of operatives and technology intentionally left behind after the withdrawal of their main forces. The economic stakes for Iran were peaking. Syria and the UAE had just launched a trade hub initiative, signing 6 agreements worth over $12 billion. This surge in trade was tied to July 8th U.S. Caesar Act waiver, which would unlock third-party reconstruction investment and threaten Iranian economic leverage in post-war Syria. In Tehran, the leadership was in crisis. Following the assassination of Ali Khamenei, Iran entered a volatile 4-month succession vacuum, that only ended with the emergency election of Mojtaba Khamenei. During this period, the IRGC operated under a headless octopus doctrine. Without a supreme leader to provide top-down orders, the Guard's hawkish wing autonomously escalated naval blockades and proxy violence to maintain its regional doctrine. The Plan B network possessed both the covert architecture and the urgent geopolitical motive to sabotage Gulf Syria normalization without triggering a direct state-on-state war. When we finalize the analysis of competing hypotheses, we find that no single group perfectly satisfies all criteria without leaving significant evidentiary gaps. While attribution is murky, a functional analysis of the outcome reveals a unified logic shared by all three suspects. Their motives form three structural vectors: stopping legal accountability for the old guard, raising governance costs for the insurgency, and halting economic normalization for the IRGC. This geopolitical convergence happened at a specific set of coordinates. The center of this Venn diagram is the Al-Muhammad Cafe on July 2. Whether the device was planted by threatened loyalists, an evolving insurgency, or an autonomous sleeper cell, the structural outcome of the strike was identical and highly successful. The asymmetry of the event is terrifying. A primitive 1-kilogram explosive successfully derailed $12 billion in foreign investment and froze international diplomacy in an instant. This incident validates the Iraq trajectory for Syria, a model where the actual sponsor of violence remains invisible, while the visible executioners are attributed to convenient regional scapegoats. The lack of a public claim acts as the primary weapon of the perpetrators. In the post-Assad security environment, unclaimed proxy violence is a deliberate architectural feature of the landscape, designed to reshape macro geopolitics while hiding in the shadows of Damascus.